thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
It most certainly is the Brian Snow Show. I never thought I'd have a show with my name attached to it. I didn't think about it, but it's here. The Brian Snow Show is here on a lovely Thursday afternoon. Thank you to everyone that has tuned us in via YouTube and via CSTV Now for the folks out west in Reno, Nevada, and all points west. Brian's bet slips will come later on in the show. And I also will have Jessica Borga, known as the Black Widow, MMA fighter, joining me as well. But we're going to talk some good old-fashioned football to start this off. And I want y'all to please do me a favor and welcome a very, very dear friend. His name is Matt Taylor, and he is the voice of the Indianapolis Colts. And he joins me right now. Good afternoon, Matt. Great to have you.
What are you doing, man? You all right today?
I'm doing fabulous, man. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm sorting through all this rubble that was the NFL draft, but life is good.
We talked about it last week. You were getting prepared for it. I was getting prepared for it. It has happened, and let's just dive right in. Your thoughts on the Colts picking up, drafting Anthony Richardson out of Florida?
Well, it's incredibly exciting. You know, Chris Ballard said after the draft that of all of these quarterbacks, he wanted the guy that was going to have the most potential to hit a grand slam, and he didn't want anybody else to kind of have that at bat, if you will, with Anthony Richardson. So they were kind of sweating it out. There's no doubt about that, sitting at 4 and not deciding to trade up in the draft and ultimately getting their guy because the Texans go from 12 to 3 and go back to back with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. That opened the door for the Colts to get their guy at 4. Which was Anthony Richardson. You know, Jim Irsay said after the draft, if the Colts were hypothetically at 1 or 2, they probably still would have gone for Richardson, considering his potential and what he can be and turn into in the Shane Steichen offense. Shane having a lot of experience with a guy that plays in a similar fashion with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia and having success there with his offensive coordinator and going to the Super Bowl last year. So just really exciting, what this can turn into for the Colts. I mean, three big questions in the offseason here, right? The first one was, what are the Colts going to do at head coach? Who's going to come in and be the head coach after Frank Reich? Well, we know that's Shane Steichen. Then it was who's going to be the draft pick at quarterback? Well, come to find out it's Anthony Richardson. Now the $1 million question is, will Anthony Richardson play right away? Can he be the week 1 starter for this team? So they're getting the answer on that right now as we speak. Rookie minicamp is going on this weekend. His first taste and indoctrination into the NFL. But it's fun. It's exciting right now considering the hope and the optimism surrounding this team, hopefully finding some stability and some solid footing at quarterback for the first time since August 24th of 2019. But who's counting, right? But no, that's kind of where they're at right now.
Yeah. Do you think Richardson can be the week 1 starter?
I mean, I do, but he definitely has to go out there and earn it. I mean, there's no question about it. He's got a lot on his plate. And the thing that we forget is that, it's kind of a 50-50 proposition. If you go back and look at the last 10 years in the NFL, it's kind of a split decision on rookie quarterbacks that are drafted in the first round that play right away. And they obviously go through their speed bumps. It's not perfect. They go through some rough patches. And I think hypothetically, if Richardson were to start week 1, then he's not immune to that, especially with only playing in 13 games in college and only having 1 year under his belt as the main starter there with the Florida Gators. Might
have lost Matt.
Sorry about that. You got me now?
Yeah, we got you. We got you back.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, I think there's no question the Colts want him to be the starting quarterback week one, but he has to go out and earn it, and he has to be able to handle and process an NFL defense and just graduate, in levels up from the SEC to the NFL and the speed bumps that are going to come with that. But I think what the Colts are going to do is hypothetically early on lean on his dynamic traits, his athleticism, and obviously, give him a couple of things from a passing game standpoint that he can process and play fast with, but be really dynamic and fun in the running game. Pair him up with Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, lean on that early and often. But I think he's got to go out there and earn the right to be the week one starter. If not, they've got Gardner Minshew. They prioritize him in the offseason and free agency. He
Mm-hmm.
started, has familiarity in the offense behind Shane Steichen, and that knows that terminology with the Eagles. So I think they've got two really good options, but I think every time Anthony Richardson goes on the field in the spring and in the summer, it's about reps. It's about getting time on task and building his trust and building that confidence. And when fans see him and when the media sees him, obviously he's going to be heavily scrutinized, and just every pass is going to be, magnified in that
Mm-hmm.
decision on whether or not he's going to be the starter week one.
Matt Taylor joining us, the voice of the Colts. Let's go to the your second round pick, which is Julius Brents from Kansas State, filling a need at cornerback.
Yeah, exciting guy, and he's from here too. He's from Indianapolis. He went to Warren Central High School on the east side of town. So exciting, and as far as that's concerned. And this is a big guy. I mean, he is 6'3", well over 200 pounds. He's a really big physical corner. Played at Iowa first, then transferred to Kansas State. Had two really good years there in the Big 12. Conference player in back-to-back seasons. So this is the guy the Colts really liked from the get-go at the cornerback position, because he does kind of fit the profile of a Gus Bradley type cornerback. Big, long, fast, tough to throw over, but also quick enough in that short area quickness where he can thrive in zone. He can thrive in press man-to-man. So the guy, I know the Colts really, really liked him, and they picked him up in the second round. They're excited about that. And I think out of all the draft picks, 12 of them. We just talked about Anthony Richardson and kind of the question on him on whether or not he plays. I actually think it's Brent that has the highest probability, if you will, to come in and start right away on defense, because there is a hole in that secondary. Cornerback depth is a concern after Brandon Faison and Stephon Gilmore left the team in free agency. I think Brent has the talent and the makeup to play right away. Only thing is, he is coming off a wrist injury. He had a wrist injury most of last year and then waited until after the combine to have surgery on that, and rightfully so that he could go through the draft process. So he's not going to participate in the spring, but I think once the summer gets here, he'll be able to kind of pick back up with this team and get in the playbook and put himself in a position to be in the mix to start and contribute right away in that defensive secondary.
Matt Taylor joining me here this afternoon, talking all things Indianapolis Colts, as he joins us from the capital city. And there's a question in the chat. Your thoughts on Sam Ehlinger's process? This comes from Michael Doherty of Frisco, Texas. How does he fit into the new regime?
Well, he's still in the mix, obviously. I think if you're filling out a depth chart as of right now, it might be 1A, 1B with Richardson and Gardner Minshew, just because of Minshew's experience. And then I think, the number 2 quarterback would be Ehlinger. Again, I think that if you're playing a game today, Ehlinger's might be your practice squad quarterback.
Right.
But a guy last year, obviously, he had a ton of experience a year ago. He played in 4 games, started 3 of them. I mean, last year was just kind of chaotic for him. If you go back and look at, if I can do this off the top of my head with Sam Ehlinger. So last year he makes the 53-man roster at a training camp, starts as the number 3 quarterback on the practice squad, then is bumped up to 2, then he's bumped up to 1, then he goes back to 3, back to 2, then back to 1 as he started the last game of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously last year was just chaotic from a team standpoint, but certainly for Sam Ehlinger as well. But, we have yet to hear from Sam in the offseason in terms of talking with the media. But I do know that he is in year 2 of a 2-year process in the offseason working with Tom House, who's that renowned, throwing mechanics guru, the quarterback whisperer, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And you really noticed it last year. I mean, you really did. You noticed his velocity up. He was attempting throws last year and making throws and completing passes that I don't think he would have even attempted the year before as a rookie. So he definitely improved his arm strength and improved his mechanics. And I think he'll take another step in that direction this year. But I just think with Anthony Richardson here now, it's clear that the Colts are investing in him and want him to be the long-term answer. But obviously, Sam Ellinger's future here is he's got 2 more years on his rookie contract, and the Colts are going to continue to evaluate him to see if he can, at the very least, be a viable backup quarterback for this franchise.
Oh man, I'm loving the conversation. Matt Taylor joining us here. Good buddy Rapid Dave joining us from Texas also. The Hog TV joins us from the DC area. Thank you to everyone that has joined us this afternoon. Let's talk offensive line because you picked up 2 of them in the draft. And the first one I want to talk about, because you and I have talked about offensive lines all last season when I had you on the morning show. Blake Freeland, offensive tackle out of BYU. How does he fit in this offense?
Yeah, I think he fits really well. I mean, I don't think it's really a diamond in the rough. He's a 4th-round pick. He's a day 3 guy, but I think he can play, and I think he can contribute right away. I mean, he's a 4-year guy at BYU, 40-plus starts, 26 at left tackle, including being the starter there in each of the last 2 years. So I think, again, at the very least, he comes in and adds some really solid tackle depth, kind of be that swing tackle a la like a Joe Wrights or a Joe Haig, a guy that can come in and play left side, right side. Doesn't matter, based on injuries or performance. He's a guy that feels comfortable playing either of those tackle positions. And I think he's really, really refined. I mean, 6'7", just over 300 pounds. Guy can move, guy can play. Former basketball player, former quarterback and tight end in high school. So he's got that athletic background. He's got that footwork background. So really, really good value pickup for the Colts. And like you said, offensive depth was really a main focal point for this team, or one of the main focal points for this team going into the draft. And they addressed it twice with, I think, some high upside players.
Speaking of high upside players, one that I've had my eye on that is now a member of the Colts as we go to round 5, Evan Hall, running back out of Northwestern. I watched his performance all of last year. This guy can play, and I really think he's going to be a good depth piece, if not a spot starter, just in case of injury to Jonathan Taylor. But I think you guys nailed it with Evan Hall. He has really got a good motor and can really fit in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming off of a season last year, 55 catches as a running back. I mean, those are really solid numbers for a running back in the Big Ten, catching that high volume of balls. And Colts last year, once they traded Nyheim Hines, they didn't have a ton of weapons to replace him in the passing game in terms of having that versatility to play running back and slot receiver. I think you're right. He might be able to play in the slot and help, take some pressure off of Anthony Richardson. But yeah, he's got, like, I think the most yards after the catch among all running backs in 2022. And when you're talking about major college football. So I agree with you, like a really, really good value pick. Normally you don't see the Colts draft running backs on day 3, but it's kind of a little bit of a sneaky need for the Colts because you got Jonathan Taylor, you got Zach Moss. Moss is going into a contract year. Those are kind of your bell cow running backs, if you will, your traditional running down running backs. But I think, Evan Hall definitely comes in. He's kind of like that Nyheim Hines. I won't go as far to say like a Darren Sproles,
Right.
but certainly a guy that is versatile enough to help you in the running game and the passing game and give you a different look personnel wise when he's out there that you have to be ready for, and that you can't, you can't, take it for granted when he's out there on the field, because he can run it and catch it. I would be really, really surprised if the Colts didn't explore 2 running back sets with Taylor and Hall on the field at the same time. Kind of a couple years ago, they did that towards the end of the year in 21 with Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, and they had a ton of success with it. So somebody to kind of come in and formationally complement Jonathan Taylor, that's a really good get for the Colts.
One more pick we'll look at before we go to break. Jake Witt, 7th-round pick out of Northern Michigan, another offensive tackle. We've talked about it this whole segment. If there was a need, it was offensive depth, and you pick up 2 good offensive tackles in the draft.
I mean, Jake Witt's great story. I mean, I think Chris Ballard late in the day on day 3 had a good inclination that Jake Witt would be really highly sought after in undrafted free agency. Kind of had a feeling that a lot of teams would be on him. So he just said, you know what, I'm just going to bite the bullet right here. We like him enough. We don't want to lose him. So we're just going to draft him. And that's what they did with their last pick in the 7th round. Crazy story, right? I mean, another big guy, 6 foot, over 300 pounds now, but he's from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, right? So kind of a dense part of the country, but really good basketball player. In fact, he was the Mr. Basketball in the Upper Peninsula in high school in the state of Michigan, and goes to Michigan Tech to play college basketball, and decides to give that up. Then he transfers to Division II Northern Michigan just to be a regular student there. Then he gets coaxed into playing football and trying out football. Starts as a tight end, and they got a really good football program there at Northern Michigan. So starts as a tight end, and in fact, in the Division II national championship game that they participated in, they get a bunch of injuries. They're in a big time pinch, so they ask Witt to go from tight end to left tackle, and it's like a fish in water. Like it's just like a perfect marriage for him. Doesn't give up any pressures, doesn't give up any sacks. The next year, he's the full-time left tackle, and then voila, here he is putting on a ton of weight and refining his game, and here he is in the NFL as a draft pick. So really cool story. I still think he's got a big jump, obviously, going from Division II to the NFL, having not played the position for very long. I think he's still kind of a project, but I think the Colts believe enough in him, obviously, to draft him and to maybe kind of stash him. I'm just projecting on this, but maybe stash him a year on the practice squad, have him, give him a redshirt year, so to speak, and then see where he's at maybe this time next year to compete for a roster spot. But a guy they were really high on, they liked him a lot, and obviously, gave him a 7th round draft selection to get him in here and just have him develop.
One of my good buddies, Matt Taylor, the radio voice of the Indianapolis Colts, joining me. He will join me throughout the season when we talk Colts. I love having you on, buddy. Thanks a lot so much. I can't wait to have you on again.
You got it, man. Anytime. Take care.
Matt Taylor joining us here this afternoon. We're going to pause for a break, and then I got some bets to break down. We like to call it Brian's Bet Slips. That's next. This is the Brian Snow Show.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
One of the great things about ordering meals from Mother of Macros is that you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Click the national or local delivery link to access the menu, and we'll ship the meals right to your door. We understand you won't always have time to plan, shop, prepare, and cook to provide healthy nutrition for your family, so the process is simple and saves you hours. We know you're busy, so our meals are professionally prepared and packaged. You only need to heat them up and enjoy. We provide macro-balanced, delicious meals, chock full of fresh, local ingredients with none of the stuff you don't want to eat. Plus, our menu changes every week, keeping your taste buds wanting more. We take care of your meals so you can worry about everything else on your list. Mother of Macros.
This planet has been great to me. It's given me gifts that I can't even explain. It's given me adventures and memories I'll never forget. And Battleborn, I think, has given me the opportunity to go beyond and give something back. How can I be a better custodian to this planet and the place I live? That's where I am with Battleborn. Let's make the planet a better place.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
Tonight on CSTV and CSTVNow.com, it's the Thursday Night Throwdown. All kinds of wrestling news squished into a little show. That's Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTV Now. Welcome back to the Brian Snow Show. Thank you for joining me. And now we got a little something we like to take care of. And I did that totally wrong. I meant to push this button as we get you ready for your betting day on this Thursday. And we like to call it Brian's Bet Slips. Now, yesterday, I will do a quick review. Got my notes here. Yesterday, Edmonton and Vegas. Edmonton was favored by 1.5 goals. I said take it, and that turned out to be a good move because Vegas won that game 6-4. I said under 6.5 for total goals. I said take the under, and they were just right at. Well, actually, they were over. I beg your pardon. They were at 10. I said take the under, so missed that one. I'm going to get better as this goes on. Now then, I picked Jersey and Carolina Devils at plus 1.5. I said to take it, and that turned out to be a good call because Carolina won that game very, very handily. In terms of Major League Baseball, Atlanta and Miami. Atlanta was favored by 1.5, and I said lay it. They wound up winning by 8, 14-6, and the over-under was 8.5, and I said, take that one. I should have been more specific and say take the over. Nailed that one. Philadelphia and Boston, I said lay the points with Boston as they were favored by 10. And I missed the over-under just by 8 points. I said take the over at 216, and with Boston winning 121 to 87, that was the total point number was 209, so that was the under. All right, here we go for Brian's bet slips this afternoon. We start in San Francisco, California, with the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. That's a 9 p.m. tip-off at the Chase Center in San Francisco. The line says Warriors -6. Go ahead and lay it because I expect the Warriors to come out like a house of fire after having game one in their hands, and they let it slip away. Too many turnovers, too many fouls. I say lay the points. The Warriors will be ready. The over-under is 227.5. Go ahead and lay that too. I expect the Warriors to get 120 tonight and tie this series going into the weekend in Los Angeles. Now, the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's a 7 p.m. face-off at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. Puck line says Leafs by 1.5 goals. I'm going to say go ahead and take it, and I'm going to call for Florida to get the straight-up win in this game and go up 2-0. Over under 6.5. I say go ahead with the over. The Leafs are hot. They're in the second round, but they're meeting an even hotter team in the Florida Panthers. On we go. The Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars, 9:30 Eastern time face-off, all times Eastern, at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Line says Stars by 1.5 goals. I say take that, and also Seattle for the straight-up win, because they are just a gritty ball club, and they are flying right now after upsetting the Cup champs. Over-under is 8.5. Take the over in this case, because they scored a total of 9 in Seattle's overtime win 2 nights ago. To Major League Baseball, Seattle and Oakland from the Oakland Coliseum. That's a 3:37 first pitch out west. Line is Seattle by 1.5. I say go ahead and lay it. Over under 6.5. I say go ahead and take the over. This Seattle offense is beginning to cook. Atlanta and Miami at 4:10 at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Atlanta by 1.5. Go ahead and lay it. They had 14 yesterday, and as I said yesterday, that offense is beginning to click. They're going to click again tonight. Over under 7.5. I say go ahead and take the over, as the two teams had 20 total runs last night. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes care of this edition of Brian's Bet Slips. All of our numbers, all of our odds are presented by Vegas Insider. We got a break, and when we come back, a very, very special guest that I can't wait to get on here this afternoon. She is Jessica Borga, MMA fighter, bare knuckles fighter, and she has her black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Man, we're going to love talking to her. That's next on the Brian Snow Show.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
I'm in another lane, I'm a different breed, I'm everything you can never be, I'm next level, next level.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
Hey, y'all, Snowman here. Catch me, Cole Johnson, Wise El Jefe, and the usual cast of characters as we bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and it's right here on CSTV and CSTVNow.com. Join us, won't you?
One of the great things about ordering meals from Mother of Macros is that you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Click the national or local delivery link to access the menu, and we'll ship the meals right to your door. We understand you won't always have time to plan, shop, prepare, and cook to provide healthy nutrition for your family, so the process is simple and saves you hours. We know you're busy, so our meals are professionally prepared and packaged. You only need to heat them up and enjoy. We provide macro-balanced, delicious meals chock full of fresh, local ingredients with none of the stuff you don't want to eat. Plus, our menu changes every week, keeping your taste buds wanting more. We take care of your meals so you can worry about everything else on your list. Mother of Macros.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Welcome back to this rapidly moving edition of the Brian Snow Show. Waiting on Jessica Borga, the Black Widow, my guest, MMA fighter, bare knuckles fighter, and a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She should be in here in a couple of minutes. Programming announcement tomorrow. All of my programs that I'm going to do, Snowman in the Morning, plus the Brian Snow Show, and a couple of extra podcasts will originate from Indianapolis, Indiana. Wife has to be there. So I said, I'm coming with you. She says, all right. So we're going to find a place to park, and we are going to. Is she in? I don't see her. I don't see her yet. Well, I'm waiting on my guest to chime in. Let me say hello to a very, very dear friend of mine, Play-by-Play with JJ. If y'all haven't had a chance to check out his YouTube channel, please do. It is growing. The man does a great job with his play-by-play cast covering the Phillies, the Sixers. And I had a chance to listen to him do play-by-play, and it has been magnificent. From one play-by-play man to another, you are awesome, my friend. You are very, very awesome. I can't wait to have my guest either. Don't know if she has trouble logging in. I will send her the link again. Let me again shout out my buddy Rapid Dave, one half of my Beer Bros and the Strikeout Beer podcast. Subscribe to their channel also. They have man, it's just magnificent. That channel is magnificent. I love listening to them when I get a chance, and I sign in with them. Whew, as soon as they come on. One person I am going to get on is JJ, play-by-play with JJ. As I mentioned again, go check that channel out. Absolutely fabulous. And I want to get him on, and I also want to collaborate with JJ on a play-by-play call. If you cover football, and I have a feeling that you do, I'd love to collab with you on a football broadcast. Speaking of broadcasts, a lot of people I've seen online. Take that back. We have our guest here, and she is getting set up, and she is in, and she is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to Lakeland, Florida, and I want y'all to please help me welcome the fighter known as the Black Widow. Her name is Jessica Borga. Joins me right now. What's up, Jessica? How are you, my dear?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I haven't interviewed an MMA fighter in a long time. So when Tom gave me the word, one of our wonderful EPs, he said, "You got to have her on the show." You're on. Let's do it. What got you into fighting? What got you into MMA?
Honestly, I was told by a lot of people that I should. A rough upbringing, and it caused me to fight a lot on the streets and in school. I turned it into something good, so that's what the main. I don't like really bringing up the fact that I was a horrible child, but it actually, became something good, and it helped me to be able to give back. So
yeah, that's great. That is great. Do you get nervous before your fights? Is there like a routine that you have?
I get more excited than I do nervous.
Okay.
The only time I actually never used to even get nervous a little bit until I got into like the top 10 in Bellator, and I felt like I had a lot more on my shoulders, I guess you could say. But it's nervous. It's natural to be nervous and excited, and I have all those, adrenaline and emotions. So you just got to learn how to work with it.
What's been the toughest challenge for you so far in your fighting career?
Honestly, besides the health issues that I've had in the past, it would probably be being a mother to three, and trying to, to be a professional athlete in any sport. It takes a lot of time, and you're giving up a lot of sacrifices and a lot of, their practices and their games, and you kind of feel guilty. So you have to be selfish, kind of being a professional athlete. So it comes and goes as, guilt.
How old are your children?
2 boys that are 13. Well, one's fixing to be anyway in June, and a little girl that is 8.
What do they think of their mom being a pro athlete?
Well, 2 of them are my stepkids, but my son, he's always been my main. He's right there. He's my biggest supporter. But they all love it. They all love it. They don't like to watch it.
Yeah.
Not in person anyway.
Right.
But my son doesn't mind it as much as the other 2.
Have they ever been to one of your fights in person?
Yes. Well, my son has. The stepkids have not really been there when I've actually had a big fight. Usually it's honestly more traveling. So I haven't really been able to have many in Florida.
Okay. What's the furthest you've traveled for a fight?
My last Bellator fight I was a co-main event in London. So that was probably the furthest. Yeah.
Wow. You across the pond in the UK. How did that go? Tell me about that. Tell me about that experience. Tell me about that.
Oh, it's incredible. The only thing that I don't like, nobody really likes to travel and be kind of cutting weight and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't have to cut much weight, but it still is like traveling to work is a little different than traveling for leisure. But it was definitely an experience. The crowd in London was absolutely incredible. Even though I was not the hometown girl, they still gave me like just a rush. And I loved it. It was amazing. It was one of the best experiences I've had.
The fans in London are really different because they don't get a lot of American events over there. I remember the World League of American Football in 1991, and I was thinking to myself, how are they going to receive American football? Then the London Monarchs trotted out on the field at old Wembley Stadium, and every time they trotted out on the field, everybody went nuts. And then SummerSlam was in London in 1992, 80,000 plus at Wembley Stadium, and they went crazy. Is it different, the fandom in London as opposed to being here in the States?
Honestly, it was. It was, besides, I want to say California was the other one that was real, like the crowd was just incredible. London is different. They are all for it.
Yeah. I believe it. JJ poses a question. What was it like fighting during the pandemic, and how did the pandemic change your athletic routine and your family routine?
That was part of the question that you asked earlier about the health issues and everything like that. It wasn't the pandemic pretty much shut everything down for 3 years, and it was horrible. Us fighters, we don't get paid unless we fight, so we're just sitting around.
Right,
we're not even
right,
supposed to have more than a certain amount of people in the gym training at the time, and it hurt all of us in a aspect. I think it hurt our training, it hurt our ability to fight. So, cage rust is a real thing. So my first fight back, I was completely like, I don't know it was not me at all in the cage. And I'm like, what's going on? Little did I know I was having actually health issues during that time too. So a month later, I ended up in the hospital, almost died twice, had 2 surgeries within a week. So it was a lot, but yeah, the pandemic hurt everything. It pretty much put a pause on everything. And when I came back, I had health issues, and not to say that that's what caused it, but didn't help.
Well, what kind of health issues did you have post?
I actually I never had a kidney stone before, and I had a 6 millimeter that was obstructed apparently. And it was like, as soon as they got to surgery the next morning for that, they put a stent in, zapped it away, and whatever was my kidney was 3 times its size, I guess. Whatever was stuck in the kidney, released like wildfire in my body, and I became extremely septic, but they didn't know that at the time, which I don't know how they didn't know that at the time. They let me go home, and I come back with less than 24 hours later with not being able to breathe. I was literally feeling like I was suffocating. And my right side was hurting instead of my left side this time. So I'm like, what is happening?
Right.
So they do more diagnostics and find out that my gallbladder shut down. Little do they know, they don't understand why. So it was probably being septic. That did that, as well as caused me to have double pneumonia. So I had sepsis, double pneumonia. They didn't want to risk going in for surgery right then because of my gallbladder.
Right.
And they said it was it's a necessary evil. So they were like, you could not wake up. There's a possibility you could not wake up. And I almost didn't. They had me on 15 oxygen, and I was still like in and out of consciousness trying to wake up. So they removed my gallbladder, found out that I had like my gallbladder was probably working at 25% for the last 3 to 4 years.
Oh,
From a
goodness.
past trauma. There was scar tissue. I guess they even took like videos and pictures and were like, I didn't know why your gallbladder shut down. So I wanted to, show you what it was.
Yeah.
It's crazy sequence of events that happened. So, but here I am. I'm feeling better than ever.
Man, I'm so happy for you and for that. Boy, I can tell you about combination health issues because 2 years ago in June, I had blood clots in both my lungs. My daughter and my wife saved my life because I collapsed in the kitchen.
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
I was so disoriented. I didn't know what was going on. My daughter comes flying out of her room and called 911. My wife comes flying in. She took the phone and told them what's going on. Next thing I know, I'm being airlifted from Henderson, North Carolina to Durham, North Carolina for an immediate procedure to get the blood clots out of my lungs. Because as I found out, had I waited any longer, I wouldn't be here.
Wow, that's
So
really scary. I had a friend that just went
special,
through that because of COVID too.
yeah, two very special women saved my life, and
That's awesome.
and then on top of that, it wasn't 24 hours later, but a month later, I find out I got pancreatic cancer.
Oh my God.
It was stage 3 at the time and wound up going to stage 4. I took oral chemotherapy. That didn't cut it because my brain was out of control. And I'm wondering what's going on and why I couldn't think properly and do everything the way that was going on. Well, my beautiful wife explained it to me. You were putting poison in your body with the chemotherapy, and it didn't do anything. It didn't shrink the tumor. And the folks at Duke Cancer Center, and I've told this story, the folks at Duke Cancer Center told Jody, my wife, to prepare me for a casket. And my wife said, "Oh, the hell with that. I'm not having this." And if I'm lying, I'm dying. And
I
I'm
believe
right
that's
here.
crazy. You got me like by 20 times.
Listen, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here on the verge of turning 51 this July. And
so how'd you get rid of it?
Well, that's the best part of the story. My wife said, "I'm not having you in a box. I need you." So we made the tough decision to move from North Carolina to Indiana and came back, and we found some folks that really have helped us. And I will never forget a doctor by the name of Attila Nakib at IU Med Center in Indianapolis. And he started drawing on a paper towel of all things, what's going to be removed, how long the surgery is going to take. And I just looked him in the eye, and I'm dead tired. I looked him in the eye and I said, "Can you get this thing?" He looked me right back with a serious face and said, "We will get it."
Wow.
So I'm minus a gallbladder. I'm minus a couple of other parts as well. I was in ICU for 3 days, but 1 year later, here I am just having fun, chatting with some of the best guests on both my shows, my pets, including my little dog Lucy, who's running around here right now.
I got all 3 of my dogs here too.
So you understand.
I love animals. Love animals.
Yeah, we got 3 cats. We got a bunch of rabbits. Of course, like I said, my dog Lucy. And when I came home from surgery for my blood clots, and we were still living in North Carolina, yeah, she attached herself right to my hip. I pass out. She passes out next to me.
Dogs are, just animals in general. They're amazing. They're awesome.
Yeah. We got a question from my buddy Ryan in Saratoga, New York. Are there meanings behind your tattoos? He's loving the ink. I'm loving the ink. Are there meanings behind your tattoos? That's from Ryan McCarthy in Saratoga, New York.
Almost every single one of them has a meaning behind it. It's like a collage of pretty much describing me and my love for certain things, my passion for certain things.
Yeah.
There's boxing gloves. There's the octopus that has it like within a heart. That's like jiu-jitsu for me.
Yeah.
This one has jiu-jitsu belts, which I still haven't gotten my brown or black belt colored in yet. So there's lots. There's
yeah. It's like your left arm. I think that's like a full sleeve.
Yeah, trying, man. The time it takes to heal, though, I don't know if I'm ever
Yeah.
gonna finish it.
Yeah. My wife said, I want to get a full arm sleeve. Would you support me? I said, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
All right. One of the nicknames I gave her is my Phoenix, because she's risen through
I have a
a lot
Phoenix
of
on me
stuff.
too.
There you go.
I do. I
There,
have it on my thigh. That's the
oh
reason
man.
why, because the trial and tribulations, man, it makes me
Yep.
who I am. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it has made me one tough woman.
Yeah. And I think you just answered JJ's question with all the adversity and the awful challenges and the trauma you've dealt with. What's kept you going?
My son more than anything, but MMA is really like, if I don't train, I don't have that portal. I need that portal for
Right.
everything. It's my
Right.
therapy. It keeps me centered. It gives me my reason. So those two things, like my family and MMA, those two are my main reasons.
Same with me. I got my radio shows, my podcasts, and my family. That's what keeps me going. Down to Frisco, Texas with Mike Doherty. What motivates you to continue your journey, and what's your upcoming matches that you're excited about?
I actually am competing this weekend in an absolute jiu-jitsu tournament for some money. So that'll be fun. I just try to compete as much as I can, honestly, even
Yeah.
in between fights. And I should have fight news soon. Can't say anything more, but
Nice.
I'm excited
Very nice.
about it.
Very nice. Very nice.
But honestly, what keeps me going is just everything that I went through. That's fuel enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything it just fuels me. Like the hate from people, the past, the love from people, everything. I mean, my
Yep.
fans, everything. It fuels
Yep.
me, and it just uses it as gas.
Well, you got a lot of fans here in the chat that have joined us. They dropped their questions. Jessica Borga, MMA fighter extraordinaire, joining me. And I would love to have you on here many, many more times, my dear. Absolutely wonderful. Say hi to your family for me. Let them keep you motivated, as my wife and my family keeps me motivated. Thank you so much. Very, very much appreciated. And I'd love to have you on again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And thank you guys for all your questions.
All right. Jessica Borga, the Black Widow, joining us this afternoon. One more break, and then I will recap the bet slips after this. Hey, y'all. Snowman here. Catch me, Cole Johnson, Wise El Jefe, and the usual cast of characters as we bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and it's right here on CSTV and CSTVnow.com. Join us, won't you?
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus, smarter than energy.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extra berth. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
This planet has been great to me. It's given me gifts that I can't even explain. It's given me adventures and memories I'll never forget. And Battleborn, I think, has given me the opportunity to go beyond and give something back. How can I be a better custodian to this planet and the place I live? That's where I am with Battleborn. Let's make the planet a better place.
Sure. We all know ghosts exist.
I'm getting a really dark energy.
But if you trying to hunt them, there's one simple rule you gotta follow.
What the hell was that? Guys, hurry up and get the hell out of there.
No matter what happens, stay calm. Hey, Matt, what's up?
Okay, that's a balloon. It looked like it was a demon. Wow.
We be fly for nothing. We be fly for nothing. O-E-O, mucho. Run it.
So where are we going?
A haunted pinata shop.
What?
An old Korean brothel.
Oh, Lord. A funeral home in Compton?
Yeah.
You don't like us, do you?
It's business.
I get fly for nothing. I roll with O-P-O.
Official paranormal operations, baby.
We got infrared cameras set up all over the place.
Whatever's in there, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Y'all down with it?
What the is this? I have robot strapped to my abdomen.
What the hell is going on?
Are you with us right now?
You okay? Guys, we got action.
I feel like something's in here with me.
Don't nobody want you with us.
Man, they got some going down in there.
It could be a succubus.
Suck you, huh?
It's an energy that feeds upon you in a sexual way. Like,
Not with the teeth like that?
oh, yeah.
We be fly for nothing.
All right, investigation's over. This bitch is haunted as
Welcome back to this edition of the Brian Snow Show. As we get ready to wrap things up, let's take y'all through a rapid fire edition of Brian's bet slips for this Thursday. We got a lot on the docket. 5 games we're gonna look at. Lakers and Warriors in San Francisco. Warriors are favored by 6. Go ahead and lay that. Over under 227.5. Lay that also. Take the over. Panthers and Maple Leafs at 7 Eastern at Scotiabank Arena. Leafs are favored by 1.5. Take that, because I'm expecting Florida to get the straight up win. Over under 6.5. Brian's bet is the over. Kraken at Stars, 9:30 Eastern at American Airlines Center in Texas. Stars favored by 1.5. Go ahead and take it, because I'm calling for Seattle to get the straight up win. 8.5 is the over under. Take the over. They had 9 in their overtime game a couple nights ago. Mariners and Athletics getting ready to pitch in about a half hour from now. Seattle favored by 1.5. Go ahead and lay that. I just don't trust Oakland's offense to produce anything. Over under 6.5. Seattle should cover that by themselves, and I'm taking Seattle for the straight up win. Braves and Marlins from Lone Depot Park, Miami. Atlanta favored by 1.5. Go ahead and lay that. Over under 7.5. Go ahead and take the over on that. Let me thank my absolutely fabulous guests for coming on this afternoon. Matt Taylor, the longtime voice of the Indianapolis Colts, for joining me this afternoon. And also to the Black Widow MMA fighter, Jessica Borga, for joining us. Family over everything. Y'all know how I feel. Tomorrow, Snowman in the Morning and the Brian Snow Show will originate from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I want to thank y'all for coming on, for supporting the show, dropping your questions in the chat. Let's make this a very interactive show, and we're going to keep it at an hour for the time being. My time is up. Hope you enjoyed it as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Our executive producers are Thomas O'Boyle and Cole Johnson. Producer of the show is Mike Doherty. Producer of Brian's Bet Slips is Mike Doherty. And all of our lines come courtesy of Vegas Insider. Till tomorrow, we originate from Indiana's capital city. God bless you, and so long, everybody.
Thank you for tuning into The Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the results.